Internet. I'm Angela. I'm a director and creator. We here at Nerdsmith would like to wish you a very happy NerdsGiving. The time has come for our second annual NerdsGiving charity event. 2 weeks of playing silly games with our friends while putting a little bit of good back into the world. This year, we are supporting Heifer International and their fight to end hunger while caring for the earth. They gift families and communities income-producing animals and provide the training to turn those animals into sustainable businesses. For the next 2 weeks, that's November 1st through the 15th, we here at Nerdsmith will be running animal-themed RPG one-shots and giving away delightful prizes during the streams. Stay tuned on Twitter for the latest show schedule or donate today at fundraise.heifer.org/nerdsgiving. It's bound to be amusing. No, don't cluck up this opportunity. No, just play the outro.
We are Nerdsmith. Bum ba-dum.
No. We're gonna try that again. One more time. From the top. We are Nerdsmith.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Nerdsmith. I am your GM for the evening. My name is Heath, and we are wishing you all a very happy NerdsGiving. We have 2 weeks of playing that we just got through. We got one more show after this one, and we want to thank everyone for giving, but remember, it's not too late. Please give. We're trying to put a little bit of good into the world. So this year, like every year, we support a particular charity, and this year it's Heifer International. A percentage of all the bits and the donations, the subs, and everything that we earn tonight through Twitch will be going towards the fight to end hunger while caring for the earth. But you need to make sure that you donate directly to our NerdsGiving fund for a chance to win one of our giveaways at the end of our 2-week event. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It is the most adorable artwork and things that we have out there. They're absolutely stunning. So if you don't give for a good cause, at least give so you can win some really cute art. Anyways, donate today at the fundraiser.heifer.org/nerdsgiving, or if you follow the link in chat, you can find it there. Once again, my name is Heath. You can find me on the Twitter at DireBearAC. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce everyone, but first, let me tell you a little bit about Humblewood. Humblewood is a 5th edition, D&D 5th edition campaign or addition to it. It's set in the Humblewood, where you play as birdfolk or humblefolk. It is a fantastic game. It's put out by the Animated Spellbook. You should check them out. The Animated Spellbook itself, they have cards and things like that to make your gameplay a lot easier. The book itself is fantastic and should be coming to retailers and the Kickstarters soon. But now, after that, let's go ahead and introduce everyone around me. We're going to start over to my left as it sits in the camera anyways, Kyle.
Hello, I'm Kyle. I'm one of the folks over at Nerdsmith. You can find me typically on Tuesday evenings playing Merrick Strider on Shenanigans tomorrow night at 7 p.m. You can find me also at xgrimsby on Twitter.
All right, Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly. Tonight, are we saying character names?
Please.
Yes. Today I'm playing Fauna, and you can find me usually playing with DireBear on Mondays and Thursdays. You can also find me on Instagram at ThighHighCosplay.
Excellent. Sarah.
I'm Sarah. Tonight I am playing as Nellie the Stout Strig. Mondays I play as Zora on the Escorts on DireBear. Tuesday I play as Kat on the, I'm just going to totally blank on the name, Holocaust of the Kajati. And I am unfortunately not one of the hip kids with social media.
We love you nonetheless. And last but not least, V. Push your button.
V, push to talk.
Push to talk.
It's still push. I'm sad. This always gets me. I'm V. I'll be playing Dandelion tonight. dandy if you desire. And you can find me as Crying Ghost on almost anything.
Thank you all so much. All right, so Humblewood. The streets or the roads of Humblewood are usually a busy place, at least around the Heartwood. Today is no different, but actually seems to be taking on a little bit more traffic than normal. As you are making your way down one of the many roads to the Heartwood, which is the center of the world here, at least as far as you're concerned, and the Humblewood is the center, many roads diverge and come together. And today is no different. You are walking along when you notice that there are a group of individuals kind of crestfallen and defeated looking. They seem to have wagons with meager belongings strapped to them. They shuffle more than walk with pride and steady heads. They're a little bit ahead of you, and you can see that there are 3 major families walking together. Or at least it appears that way. You, having traveled together for some time now, take note of these things. As they're approaching the gate, you can see guards at the ready, but as is usual, there is a line of people trying to get through, since the fires on some of the outskirts have pushed the people of Humblewood closer to the center, making Heartwood a great refuge, but also becoming a bit overburdened with the population that it didn't have always. The guards are now strapped to keep safety and security, and so therefore they're keeping a close watch on those who are coming and going into the Humblewood. Now, you fall in line, keeping pace, and you can see the families are just ahead of you. What would you like to do?
So they're looking a little distraught, kind of.
Yeah, they look
Set.
Yeah, they look a little crestfallen. Like I said, look a little defeated.
Okay, well, Fauna will first approach them, this hulking, skinny deer. Why do you guys look in such bad moods? Did something happen? Can we be of assistance?
And we're going to get our first roll for the night. I'd love for you to get a persuasion check for me, please.
Okay. A fail. I rolled a 1.
They seem reticent to speak to you as they kind of cower back from you. Anybody else? Is Dandelion riding in your antlers?
Oh yeah.
Say I could try.
Sure, give me a persuasion check.
I'm good at that.
Lost you, Heath.
Towering over them, your friend gives them a little bit of a little reticent to speak to them. However, when they see your cheerful presence, your smile, sitting up there in your high space as you do, they kind of marvel at you, and you can see that they kind of take heart for just a moment, as though a little bit of hope were infused back in them. One of them steps forward. You can see that they are a family of Gallus. He has green feathers with red on the top, iridescent, and she has a little more buff coloring to herself. And they hold feathered hands, and he looks at you and says, "Oh, aye. Our farms are dried up. Seems that someone's causing a bit of an issue with the water. Bandits, as it were. They keep troubling us for more money, and we can't pay any more, so we took what we had and left our home that we've had for nigh on 30 years. I was raised there, as was Gertrude here. With all the wells running dry in the middle of town and no waters to the farm, it's not long before the city itself, the little town, dries up. Now, we left, but there are some of those stubborn They say they'll stay here as long as they can. Die upon the rocks that are left is what they'll do. It's sad. You can see the other families seem to back or correlate this thing. That there are apparently bandits in numbers that have blocked off the water with a dam. Of course, the blocking up of the water has caused the well to run dry in the middle of town, or just start running dry. And the water to the farms are no longer flowing through as they used to, but it's now down to a trickle. You get the idea that the bandits, and this is the words that they tell you, the bandits are demanding a high price to get water back to the town. And even though they may open it up for a little while, they immediately close the dam off, causing the city to once again go to a muddy mess or dry up completely. So right now, it seems like their town is completely under the control of all of the bandits that are there.
Well, I suppose this is a job for us, isn't it? She looks back to the rest of her friends.
We haven't even gotten into the city yet. What? I suppose.
Yes, but this is a rightful duty.
Indeed, I suppose.
The families look at you and they kind of hold their hands up. We can't ask anything of that manner. We don't have money to pay for a deed such as what you're asking for. I mean, we've got a few coin between the most of us, but we were saving most of that to make way there in the Heartwood.
It's no trouble. I ask for nothing. It is a good deed that I wish to perform.
And as you guys are talking, of course, the line is moving up a little bit. You can see now that the guards are only a few paces off from where you're at. One of the other families, it's a family of Hedge. He walks over and he speaks up and he says, "Listen, you understand that you're taking on a great trouble for us. And we'd thank you for that. But again, understand that we've nothing to offer in way of this."
The causes that I fight for, I ask for nothing in return.
Good for you.
Just consider it as a blessing that the consider it as a token of rightfulness and a duty to my own that I would give this to you. Not to be conceited or anything.
Well, sure, and as you're speaking for yourselves, but what of your friends there?
I'm sure the bandits have a few things they can let go of.
Sure, and they do. Mostly our money.
And if you were to, think of us fondly when we move through your village or your city in the future, that would be recompense enough.
The three heads of the families kind of come together and they talk amongst one another for a moment. Kind of hang their heads for a moment and say, "Well," you see the Hedge come up to you again. "It would be right by us then, if you could do such a thing. Oak Bend has been our home for a long time. Now, we're not much prepared to make the trek back at this moment, but it's merely a day's travel from here for the four of you, moving as you are. If you happen to clear it out, come and find us. We'll be in the lower parts of the city. Mine into our own. We'll make sure to spread the word to the rest of the refugees that we can go home and then be less of a burden on this city here. What are your names, after all?"
I am Fauna. No pun intended.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I am Hiram.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Hiram. My name is Liam.
Blessings of the Amaranthine on you.
And you as well.
Just kind of gives a nod. Nelly.
Pleasure, Nelly.
Dandelion just leans over from her perch on Fauna's head a little bit, and she's like, I'm Dandelion.
Indeed you are. Liam, this is my mate, Alice. And you see another hedge come around, and she's got kind of a plain dress on. And she just kind of waves at all of you. The two Gallus, the chickens-looking folk, come over and introduce themselves. They are the Ruffletims, Gertrude and Bertrand. They have 3 children. They introduce them as Flaus, Hannah, and Meech. And you can see the 3 chicks just kind of peeping around and talking, and they're excited as children are. And they see Dandelion, and their faces light up, and they're excited to see her. The other family that's standing there are a couple of Lumas. They look more dove. They have ring necks and white heads. He introduces them as the Barksons, Mary and Hedia, and they have 2 children that they name as Soul and Amber. And you can see that they are, unlike the other 2 families, they seem to be a little more well off. At least some of the belongings that they have with them give you the idea that maybe they had come from some sort of money. Or at least were respected and more well-to-do within the community. Liam speaks up again, asking you to keep an eye out for any more refugees that seem to be heading that way, and gives you directions on where to send them when they do come that direction. And he asks, is there anything else that they can do? With which Alice kind of shoves him aside, and she starts to mill about on her cart. And when she comes back, you can see that she has 3 small bundles. And 4 small bundles, and she hands one to each of you. Wrapped in cheesecloth of some sort. And as you unfold them, you can see small slices of bread in there, and some wonderful cheeses, and soot on nuts on a kind of a honey or sap paste that tastes really good. Seeds all over them, and it's all mashed together for you guys to eat and enjoy. To which she replies, it's not much, but hopefully it'll get you through the trip. If and ever you find yourselves in need of more, if you let people know that you're helping out those of Oakbend, if they fit to share, they'll definitely share it with you.
Thank you. This is more than generous.
All right. Well, with your mission under tow, the only question is, do you head straight away, or would you like to head into the Heartwood to try to get some supplies, equipment, or anything else like that? Or do you have everything you need to go?
You said that we're right outside of the city gates?
Yeah, you're like probably next or after that in line.
I suggest that we take stock inside the city. We came all this way. We might as well. The difference of 1 hour will not make or break us, as it were, I believe.
I agree.
That seems like a fine idea.
Nelly just kind of nods. I can see if maybe I can find any information about what bandits these might be.
My thoughts exactly.
All right. You see the guards as you approach. They allow the families to go through with only a modicum of questions about where they came from and what troubles them. You can see that the guards are troubled by the story that they get, but they seem like they want to help, but something is keeping them from doing so. As you approach, the guards look at you and they ask you, where you're coming from, and you just tell them, traveling the Humblewood, seeing where you can help. They ask you for your reasons for coming. What finds you here at Humblewood?
We're currently on a mission, albeit I wouldn't say non-significant, but a short one.
All right. Well, keep yourselves on the clean. No trouble from us. We've had enough trouble as it is lately. We don't want to see any more. Thank you very much for visiting, and keep yourselves and your peace strings tied. Do you understand? And with that, they let you pass through. The marketplace in the Heartwood is on the second level. You can take the winding staircase made out of this giant tree. It's this gigantic tree that holds all of the life of the city within its branches. Flats and slow lifts and things like that all throughout the city. Large staircases that wind around the tree, melding both nature and function together in this beautiful city. Lights adorn all the branches, and you can see that even though it's not dark of day, it's still kind of mid-morning, but you can still see the lights that light up where the shadow is cast by the gigantic branches of this tree. Moving into the second level, you can see that the marketplace is laid out like a bazaar. You wind through different carts and different kiosks and stands. You can see shops here and there with their signs out, offering what wares they have identified by the sign that they have hanging there. All sorts of manner of things. You hear the ringing of hammer on anvil, that constant king, 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 king. You hear the shouts of people selling their wares, their goods. Letters, cabbage, all sorts of things that they're selling. You can just move along and see. It's a cacophony of sights and smells and sounds, and it both fills the nose and it's cloying and relieving at the same time. And anything that you're trying to look for most likely can be found here in the Market Bazaar, Heartwood. So tell me briefly, what is it that you guys would like to take a look for?
Nellie's going to go looking for information. Being a former bandit, they may be able to kind of sniff out what's going on, or at least who they would be looking for.
Okay, great. As you move your way through the crowd, would you like to do this more of a give me information, or hey, what have you kind of heard?
More of a hey, what have you kind of heard?
Okay. Give me 2 persuasion checks, please.
A 9, a double 9, and a double 17.
Very good. All right. So while you're investigating that and looking for that information, trying to get people to talk to you, Hiram, what?
Looking for a map of, was it Oak Bend?
Mm-hmm.
And the surrounding areas, maybe being able to get a topographical lay of the land.
Certainly. A cartographer shop is, although not very popular, so there's not a whole lot of people there, but you do find one. He has maps that not only of like Heartwood as they would see it, more of a piece of art. They also have actual maps that you can use marking different places of Humblewood. You let him know where you're going to and the distance and the direction and things like that. And you see him leafing through these large wooden slats that have maps stretched out on them made from cloth and leather and things like that, all of them intricately detailed. They slide in and out of like this large tray or this large box, and they're on trays, and he just slides one after the other, each one of them pinned down. He gets to one and he goes, He carefully removes the pinning from it, rolling it up. He takes it over to a center table where he lays it out, and it hits you with that with that treated leather smell. You know, that like walking into a leather store where it has just that wonderful smell to it. And you can see that it's dried on there and etched in, and he has the Heartwood as the far left of the map. And then traveling east, you can see the main road and many other roads that wind off of it. including the one that you guys met, to this one coming out of the north. Looking through, you can see that the road is pretty much straight eastbound, winding here and there through the forest, but you see where he has Oak Bend. You also see a small lake that's just north of Oak Bend, and a creek that runs not quite through Oak Bend, but winds kind of around it. So it kind of winds like this, with Oak Bend sitting in one of the bends of the river. He says, there it is, Oak Bend. Would you like the map?
I would love a copy of the map, please.
Oh, well, of course. And he rolls it up carefully. And he picks it up and he says, we can agree upon 7 silver.
Perhaps 8 silver with a case?
1 gold. I'll give you a case, and that's leather treated or weather treated, so it won't get wet.
Done.
Excellent. And he rolls it up and takes out a beautiful case, and it has that wonderful boom, boom, boom when he puts the cap on the end of it and latches it, hands it over to you, and it's got a nice sling on it so you can sling it over your shoulders. And it is true, it's treated leather. You can feel the oil on the material that keeps it from being, it keeps it waterproof.
Wonderful. Pleasure doing business.
Of course. Pleasure's mine. All right, Dandelion and Fauna, what are you guys doing?
I have no general aim right now. I think I'm just wandering around, see if anything catches my eye.
You see one of the people in the marketplace has this unique little device. So they've got a pedal and a wheel, and as the wheel turns, it hits pegs on another one that spins it rapidly, faster and faster. And you watch as he takes, and there's a small, not a fire, but it's just a warmer, like almost. It's like there's a small fire burning in there to keep it warm, not hot to the touch. And as you watch, he takes and throws sugar into this circular bin, and as it does, it causes it to spin and spin and spin, and you watch as it turns the sugar into fine, like spider web looking things. He takes a stick that has a hard candy on the end of it, and as he does, he rolls it around, spinning the wheel faster and faster. When he comes up, he has a small netting of this spun sugar around this hard candy center.
How much?
Oh, 2 silver.
Would you like 1 dandelion? She looks up at
You have a
Yes,
turbine
please.
on your head.
I do. This is
Hello.
my baby.
2 silver, and I'll throw 1 in for the little.
Thank you. You're more than generous.
He takes and spends another one, offering his feathered hand up to Dandelion. There's a smaller one, and then offering 1 to you as well.
Yes.
Tiny little grabby hands.
All right, Sarah. The first half hour you spend trying to find someone who is going to give you information. It doesn't turn much. However, you're kind of guided through the streets to not the second, but the first level, back down. You find a tavern there. Inside it are all sorts of humble folk, but not many bird folk. One of the men that you see, though, has a very similar markings to what you yourself may have, marking him as one of the bandits. Now, you're not sure which camp he belongs to. There are a lot of them out there, as you yourself would know. But he looks like he might be the one to give you information. As you walk over and plunk down, he kind of looks at you, starts to give you that turn, that weird eye. What are you doing here?
Maybe I'm looking for work. You look like you might have a position opening.
No, I've left that life a long time ago. Not get into that again.
Many of us have left it. Then maybe you have information to share.
He plunks his arm down on the arm of his chair and holds his hand up, and you can see he's missing the last two fingers on his hand. And he goes, I got out of that life, and I'm not going back in. You see what it cost me.
Nellie kind of points to their beak, and you can see a pretty deep gouge across it. Almost cost me something too. Maybe I'm trying to stop them from costing good people more.
He shuffles in the seat and sits up a little more right and goes, it was a hard life. And I'm glad you're out. I'm glad I'm out.
Let's keep some good people from getting kicked out of their homes. What do you know about... It was Oak Bend? What was the name of the city?
Oak Bend. You had it right. Well, I'm not familiar with the place myself, but I know some of the groups and gangs that work over there. There's two of them. They sort of fight over territory. There's some rumors about the leader of the one around the Oak Bend. Said he survived a fire. Said he saw something within it. Might have drove him a bit mad. Nobody has any proof, but what I can tell you is he's mean. And that's about the only thing he has, is mean. So, whatever you have with him, I would stay clear enough that you're not caught up in any of his shenanigans. All right?
Good enough advice. The other group, perhaps?
Most of them are ragtag, leftover bands that kind of formed together. They're more highwaymen than anything else, so if you're heading that direction, they don't have much of a brain or a single mind to work towards anything, so they just kind of tap on people who kind of come that direction. Be careful when you're traveling. They may not seem like much, but you get enough of them together and they're like ants. They'll just attack you and drag you down.
Let's see if I can use some of the old tricks, maybe some old paths.
Well, Ferris Three Fingers wishes you luck.
Nellie wishes you luck as well. If I hear anything and come back, I'll buy you a drink.
Don't mind if I don't hold my breath on that one.
Just kind of claps him on the back and walks off. Goes looking for the rest of the...
All right. You kind of bump into one another, Hiram and Fauna and Dandelion. Hiram, you can see that they have these wooden dowels that have like wooden sticks that have this hard candy, and it looks like cobweb or something that's strung on part of it. And they both seem to be like nibbling on it a little happily.
I got all I need. I don't know about you.
What strange manner of food is this?
I don't know. It disappears when I put it in my mouth.
It's sweet. Do you want to try some? And as much as I
Very
can
much
reach,
so.
Dandelion just toss it down a little bit, maybe. Dandelion will toss her stick down with whatever's left on it. Please, have some.
Thank you.
So he will take out his water skin and douse his hands to wash and grab at the floss, and of course it just...
This is... You're playing a trick on me.
I don't know what to say. Must be bewitched.
Well, I hope you've had your fun.
The hard candy's still there on the stick. love how angry you looked. As you guys are trying to find Nellie, you hear a familiar voice crying out above or I should say familiar voice, but you hear a voice crying out above the crowd. Not in pain or anything else like that, but giving a notification.
And I will head that way.
If it's within earshot of Nelly, they would head that way as well. Heath, push to talk.
I'm so used to not doing it. Standing in the center square, someone is giving a proclamation. You can see that there is a Luma standing on a box with their wings out wide and holding a scroll, their hands and wings out wide, and they start to speak. The proclamation is about a hefty sum of 250 gold for help in towns abroad. And they read off several names. One of the names on there is Oakbend.
Wow.
The proclamation goes on to read that due to the increased threat of bandits, the city of Heartwood is unable to send out more people and guards to protect the smaller towns and provinces. We are looking for any who are able-bodied and strong enough to lift a sword to aid in these places. Among them are Ashturn, Elmhold, Oakbend, and he goes on to read off several other names.
When Dandelion hears Oakbend, she starts patting on Fauna's head a couple times. Isn't that where we're going?
Yes, and I do suppose I'm able-bodied and can hold a sword.
I can't hold a sword.
As you hold your sword.
I can hold a stick.
You're doing just fine, sweetie.
Well,
She'll she'll wave her hoof hand thing. Hand. We volunteer. Oakbend, you said.
we've already done that. I'm sure it's fine.
Right.
You see a rather thin-looking, what appears to be Corvum. He has white on the back of his neck. His head and beak are kind of narrow. He wanders over to you, and you see he has a writ in his hand. If you have any questions, see the captain of the guard. And with that, he pushes it towards you. He kind of coughs into his wing for a moment, and then kind of wanders back over next to the Luma.
Well, what do you suppose? Should we go? I mean, it's already on the track. Is it the same task?
This would be officially a task, I would assume.
And with an official writ, we are on Heartwood business. Sanctioned by the city, as it were.
Paid by the city, as it were.
There is that.
All right. Well, you have an official writ from the Council of Heartwood itself, which goes a long ways for allowing you to take the necessary steps to secure the city itself. With that being said, you set off, I take it, or is there anything else you'd like to do in Heartwood itself?
We were instructed to take the writ to the captain of the guard? Or...
If you have any questions, you can see the captain of the guard. You also get the indication from the writ itself, which you can unfurl, that says you're basically the holder of the writ, and any associated party members are given decree as honorary guard member. So basically, it's kind of like a deputization without having to go through all the process. It does report how much earnings you're going to get for any security or any securing of towns and areas around there. So it kind of clearly lays out what you get for doing the job. All right. Well, if there are no other things or questions, I assume that you get on your way.
As they walk, Nelly will pass on the information that they got in regards to the bandits, and that perhaps we should be careful, especially while traveling. Explains
Excellent.
that they're not dangerous in one or twos, but in more than that, it could be interesting.
Excellent. Well, the road itself is easygoing, and you feel like, hey, wasn't I just on this stretch of road? Oh, wait, I was. However, the traveling goes easily, and you can see, just like with any other time, you're exiting from the city is met with a large caravan of travelers heading out in the direction that you're going as well, returning to their own homes or making ways and pilgrimages to other locations. As you make your way, eventually you see other side roads and other directions that people are going, and they start taking their leave of you. Eventually your number thins out to where it's just you walking on your own towards Oak Bend. In the later part of the day, it doesn't seem to be any trouble, and as you've made your way, again, like I said, it's about a day's travel from where you're at, meaning that you should arrive there somewhere around early morning, midday tomorrow. And as you're making your way, you can see that the temperature towards this direction is starting to drop a little bit, but that's kind of normal for this time of year in Humblewood. It is kind of later in the fall season, and you feel a slight breeze. It doesn't seem to be any threat of snow, but you kind of bundle up in your cloaks and jackets and coats and things like that a little bit more. Who is leading the way?
I don't know where I'm going.
Sure. You have the map out, and you are leading the way, looking to it every once in a while and kind of deferring to where it's leading you. It's like I said, it's a pretty much straight shot. You don't take any turns off of this major road throughout here. Again, you see the travel there, and you know the signs to look for are the bend in the creek, meaning you'll cross a bridge before you get into the town itself. And as you travel, give me a perception check. More than adequate to do what you need to do. And as you're making your way along, a small sound of pleas for help. Quiet folk crying out, help, help, and punctuated with a low sound, a growl in something's throat. Up ahead of you, you can see a cart that's pulled to the side. Whatever was leading it is no longer there, either having fled or been dragged around. What's more important is what you see stalking around the wagon. It hasn't leapt onto it, but standing on the top of it, you can see a small family, hedgehogs, standing on top of crates that are covered with tarps. You can see that they're trying their best to keep this creature at bay as it stalks around them. You quickly look and spring into action. What are you doing first?
It's circling around.
It is
The
circling
carriage?
around the wagon and doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Well, I'm gonna look at the family and then down at the thing, and then I'm going to run in and whoosh, with my sword.
Please
All right,
put me
I'd
down
like for
before
everyone-
you rush in.
Okay. Yes, dear.
Go ahead and give me initiative rolls, please. All right, hang on just one second here. We're going to get our guy standing around stalking. You can see what appears to be, it's called a forest prowler. Some of you might be familiar with them. They're dangerous things. Prominently throughout all the folk tales in Humblewood, notably as a monster in frightful stories. They're cat-like beasts, and they have a unique ability to grow leaves and moss on their spotted fur, and you can see that this one does. It has a few pieces of leaves at the haunches. You can see that it has small, what looks like almost antlers forming on the top of its head, but you can see that it's tufts of fur that have kind of hardened and matted up. It looks around. Again, it hasn't noticed you all yet. You know these things are frightfully dangerous, and this family won't stand much of a chance unless you step in. So as you run forward to attack, let me go ahead and do this real quick.
Bad kitty.
So 17 will go first with Nelly, then 16 with Fauna. And then we'll have Hiram and then Dandelion.
Okay. I'm assuming we're close enough to run up to it.
Indeed you are.
Okay. Nelly would run straight at it, going into a rage, and take a swing at it with their great axe.
All right. Go ahead and roll to attack for me, please. Ooh. Unfortunately, even though it hasn't noticed you, that 9 will not do it. Unfortunately, that 9 won't hit. So we have Nelly. After Nelly is Fauna. So Fauna, push to talk.
Fuck. Okay. I'd like to use my special action, and I would like to charge.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
To hit?
You got it.
I didn't put it in. I have to type it in.
It's fine. That will definitely hit it. With a total of a 20.
Okay, so it's 1d6 plus strength, and then another 1d6 for the charge.
Nice. $12 damage. Yikes.
And it's gotta make a strength saving throw.
Roll the natural 20 with a 22 for the strength saving throw.
Oof. It's just not pushed.
Okay, but you still hit it for 12 points of damage. Dropping your antlers low, and you come in and slam into its side, bringing your antlers up. You don't really shove it out of the way, but for a second it's off the ground before landing back on its feet. You still have the surprise, though, because it just now is aware of you, but not before it can react. So we're going to... That would bring us to Hiram.
So Hiram is going to look at the beast and, not being terribly familiar with it, will attempt to startle it away. He'll grab his holy symbol, and then with a small the star on his brooch shimmers a little bit as he yells out in a impossibly loud voice, like, "Go on, get out of here!" and uses thaumaturgy to attempt to scare it into leaving.
Okay, let's see. Let's use your intimidate, but we're going to do it a little differently. Normally your intimidation is charisma. Since you're casting a spell, I'd almost like you to do it as a spell casting modifier.
Okay.
So we're going to do it like you were casting thaumaturgy as a spell and use your spell attack bonus instead of your charisma.
Okay. Spell attack bonus. That's just my casting modifier, right? I don't play
Plus your proficiency. So proficiency plus casting modifier, roll with the d20.
A 17.
Now let's see if I can beat that. That's a pretty good roll. Now he only has a +2, so let's hope. Well, he doesn't run away. However, you watch as his ears flatten out as he looks at you. You can see the hair on the back of his neck stands up, but he sort of backs away a little bit from you. So while you didn't scare it away, you do get the idea that it is not a fan of yours, but is also afraid of you. You haven't successfully intimidated the forest prowler. Next up
Everything.
is Dandelion.
We're gonna try and firebolt it.
Okay, roll to attack.
Go get him, sweetie.
An 18 will hit him.
Yay!
All right.
Just waggles her little fingers in the air.
All right. Anything for a bonus action? Anything else that you'd like to do?
I can use team tactics with somebody, yeah? It doesn't have a distance on it, so it's just giving them the help action as a bonus action.
It depends on what you're trying to do.
Would the fire be enough to distract it maybe, or maybe get its attention on me as much as I don't want that, to maybe help give somebody advantage on an attack?
Yeah, actually, that's a perfect example. As you throw your hand out, twiddling your fingers, the firebolt smashes it. It takes a look from Hiram over to you, but instead of having its hackles and being afraid of you, you watch as it narrows its eyes and gives you one of those low growls. And as you watch, though, it leaves an opening for the next person to get advantage on the attack. However,
Eep.
back at the top of the order, it gets to go first, being faster than you guys.
Oh, big eep.
Well, it does have a target of opportunity right there in front of it. And you did hit it for a lot of damage.
So I do have attack of opportunity, don't I?
No,
Or is it not moving away from me?
it's not moving away from you. It's looking to attack you.
Oh. Okay. It's not my turn though, right?
No, it's its turn. It's going
Okay,
to attack.
okay.
What is your armor class?
19.
You watch as it reaches out and hits your armor with its claw, but it bounces harmlessly off of it. It kind of tries to swipe you again on the backside, but once again, it rakes over your armor, doing no damage. It then takes a look for a second and lashes out with its teeth and finds perch right behind your knee and bites down with a 23 to hit.
Ow! Yes, that hits.
And it is a vicious attack. 12 points of damage.
Ow! That's payback.
However, that is all of its turn. You can see that it looks like it's backed into a corner. It can't really run away from you. It's afraid that you're trying to swipe at it as it does. Nelly, it is your turn.
Okay, gonna take another swing at it with a great axe and be like, no, look at me.
Bad kitty.
14.
That hits.
Okay, that also activates Nelly's Ancestral Protectors, which will make it look only at...
All eyes on you.
And 14 slashing.
Ooh.
Plus 2 because raging.
So 16 in all?
Been all day.
Yikes. Okay. You watch as it bites your friend in the back of the knee. You bring your axe up and slam down onto it. It bites a little bit into the body of the creature, and as it does, it turns and looks at you and gives you a
Kind of like narrow-eyed, like owl look at it.
All right. Hoot. All right, Fauna, it's your turn.
Okay. I will pull out my longsword and trying to hit it with that one-handed.
Okay.
18 to hit.
18 will hit.
I would also like to cast Smite.
Dump a smite into it. Okay, and then 2 more d8. Ooh, 20 damage.
Only the hard hits today, boys.
Yeah, I'd say so. All right, bringing your sword down and smacking into the side of it, tearing a nice furrow along the fur. You can see as it starts to blossom red. After Fauna is Hiram.
Okay. I seem to have lost its attention, yeah? It's focused on
Yes,
Nelly?
it is now focused on Nelly.
Understood. Then what I am going to do is how far away are we from it?
You're probably about 25 feet from where it's at. You got up too close to it before it actually recognized you were there.
Perfect. So Hiram once again is going to grab his holy symbol and pull a tiny white strip of cloth out of a pocket and whisper towards his brooch, and then gesture with 3 fingers pointed towards the 3 of you and cast aid, increasing your maximum HP by 5, or temporary maximum increase.
Does it give them 5 temp HP, or does it actually increase their max HP temporarily by 5?
Each target's hit point maximum and current hit points increase by 5 for the next 8 hours.
Awesome. There you go. So you guys have extra HP. Nicely done. Is that your turn, sir?
That is my turn.
I'll get better about asking that. Dandelion.
Oh, seeing as it's currently got its eyes on Nelly, I'm gonna cast Enlarge Reduce.
Okay.
Nelly big.
Nelly go huge.
Big Nelly. Oh,
Whoa, Nelly.
whoa, Nelly.
I was waiting for that joke. You see this big old beefy owl
There they go.
Hoot, hoot, mudda, mudda.
seething futon of rage.
We've upgraded from pillow.
Now just a whole
Alright.
futon.
You deal an extra 1d4 points of damage.
Alrighty.
And I guess I can try getting its attention again for the help action. Just squeak at it, I guess. But I don't know if it's gonna want to pay attention to me because Nelly is so big.
You can definitely give the help action, but I will ask if you're going to try to draw its attention, you're going to give it the distraction. You're going to have to get
move closer.
Would she be able to with Ancestral Guardians or Ancestral Protect?
Push the dog.
Sorry. It's distracting it, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to try to attack. You can always break from Ancestral Guardian. It's not like you're locked into place. It's just that it doesn't benefit you to do so because it gives you disadvantage. The help action that Dandelion will be giving you, though, will actually give you advantage, or whoever takes the next attack against it gives them advantage on the attack, on the first attack. So, do you want to move closer and distract it using the help action?
Yes, I will move a little bit closer.
How do you want the distract action? How do you make it look?
Hold
What do
its
you
tail.
do? Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea at all.
She's so small. I feel like jumping is probably a good way to get its attention. Just
Scoop a small amount of gravel into your hand and throw it at it.
yeah.
Yeah, pocket sand.
Ground dirt.
Sure. All right. So you move up closer and then scoop some dirt and throw it in its face, and it kind of hisses and growls at you some more. All right. It is its turn. Yeah, it's going to try to attack the huge honking owl in front of it now. Making sure you didn't get any extra AC or anything.
Yeah, that's what I was doing to him. Like, do I get extra AC from that?
Oh, the
Yeah.
first strike tries to go through, bounces off of you harmlessly, rolling only. The second one is a 16. And the
Meets
third
it,
is only
meets
a
it.
9.
The
So-
16 will hit.
It tries with its first claw and misses. It swipes backwards with it and hits you this time, finding perch. Seeing the opening, it tries to bite you, but its mouth closes only around the hardened muscle of your leg. It bites and bounces off of you, doing no damage.
Just snaps their beak at him.
Okay, honestly, that would be intimidating for me enough.
Especially, like, doubled in size.
I imagine right now it's Mrs. Grisby versus the great horned owl, the old owl in Secret of Nim. You know, it's like huge over.
How much did the swipe do?
Sorry, I was looking for my plus on that.
You're good.
11 points of damage.
Okay.
All right, with that, it's your turn. It's looking hurt. It's trying to. Now it went from attack and predator to kind of like looking to escape or fight for its life, one of the two. It doesn't know if it can get away from you, but it's your turn.
Nelly is not letting it get away. Advantage 17.
Yeah.
And that already has the rage damage added in, so 12 all day.
Don't forget your 1d4.
Oh, and 1d4.
All right. You watch as you bring this now Titan-looking axe up over your head and swing down. It hits hard, and you hear the uncomfortable crunch of bones somewhere. You pull back the axe, and now it's just kind of breathing raggedly, looking wounded, blood matted in places. Fauna.
We gonna hit it again. $16.
All right, 16 will hit.
And do I also get a 1d4? Oh no, I don't. That's not what the help action. I'm mistaken.
It's okay. So 7 slashing damage. All right. All right. While it yet still stands, you can see ragged breath. Every draw of that, every rise and fall of the chest seems to come more laboriously than before. You can tell that it's having troubles now. It's at the edge of death. Hiram.
All right. Hiram is not one to let creatures suffer, so he is going to
Send it to a farm upstate.
Yes, where he can run and be free. We'll draw his light crossbow and take a shot.
Okay, go for it.
Nope, that probably didn't hit with the 10.
No, unfortunately, a 10 does not hit. Is there any bonus action you'd like to take?
You all have this. It's fine.
Big
Big
feathery
thaumaturgy.
thumbs up.
Thaumaturgy
Is still
encouragement.
going. Yeah.
Okay. Then after Hiram, we have Dandelion.
We're gonna try firebolting it again.
Okay. That will hit.
Going up in that damage by 2s.
It's 6, 8, 10.
Today I'm teaching my baby the ×2 table.
While a significant amount of health is gone, it still wasn't quite enough to put it out of its misery. With its last vestige of hope, it's going to turn and try to attack you one more time, you big honking owl.
Bring it.
I'm rolling so horribly. That was a nat 1. 13.
Nope.
And to make up with it, the bite is a natural 20.
Well, weird flex, but okay.
Okay. How much HP do you have?
I'm raging and I currently have 43 HP.
Take
so
11 points of damage.
11 total or 11 halved?
The 11 is the halved already.
Okay. Alrighty.
Like the champion you are of the forest, you stand there as it latches on with its teeth, trying to rend flesh. You just kind of like reach down and just bat it away with one hand. It looks hurt as it recoils from you, ready to go for the last. It looks at you, its eyes open wide, a little glassy as it steps and knows what fate it's about to meet. Now lead you.
Moves to bring the axe down for a clean kill.
Okay,
That would be a 20.
that will hit.
7, and let me roll the d.
All
9
right.
total.
That is enough. As you bring the axe crashing down, it is a clean kill and there's no more suffering. The animal falls to the ground, moving no more.
Nelly just kind of picks it up and goes to move it off the main road, since they're still huge.
Okay. It feels, I mean, it's not a small creature.
Drags off main road.
Yeah.
A little bit of struggle.
I mean, it's a large creature, so it was pretty big. But you lift it with your might and move it away. You can see the family that was on top of there. They look terrified, and you see the one of them starts to speak.
Huh. What was that thing?
Do you remember what it was called?
Nope.
Forest Prowler.
It was a forest prowler.
Oh, I thought those only existed in stories. It's well,
Nasty
were-
creatures.
indeed. We were fortunate to have you come by.
Oh, and you see them start to slide down or climb down off of the wagon. They throw the tarp back, and you start to hear them fuss at one another. They look identical. I mean, like, maybe to some of you, Hedge all look the same, but these two literally look identical to one another. They start to open crates, and they turn to look at you.
Oh, well, we have to repay you in some manner of a sort.
And they start to take some small things out of their crates, and they turn and hand you a small bundle. It looks like leaves that are kind of folded and pinned, and he hands two of them to you, whoever would wish to take them.
These are poultices of our own design. A simple application should heal minor wounds, scrapes, and things like that. It takes only a moment to adhere them to your skin. Unfold them and apply them to the place where you'd like to tend to the wound, and they will heal you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
You guys have 2 potions of healing is what they're equivalent to. They work just like that. So 2d4 plus 2, if I'm not mistaken. But it takes an action to use it, just like you would for a potion. It's just in a poultice form. So you just open it up and apply it, and ta-da! Healing! They ask you where you're going and if they can spend the evening with you, since it is getting on darker, and they would feel safer leaving in the morning.
I
We
suppose
were-
it. Go ahead.
No, after you.
Well, I suppose it would be wise to bunker down for the evening. It is getting dark.
Well, we'll be happy to pitch camp here.
And they move to make some more stuff off, and you can see them set up small tents, and they kind of have it to where it's a tarp that comes off the top part of the wagon, and then it's pitched up with tent poles, leaving them kind of a lean-to thing. They throw some simple bedrolls on the ground. You can see one of them dig in for a moment, his little bottom sticking out of the tarp. You see his feet moving, and eventually he slides back out, and he has this cylindrical looking thing, but you can see that it's soft, and he puts it down on the ground where his bedroll is and kind of leans against it, putting his head like right under the bend of his head, and goes, ah. He looks pretty content with where he's at.
I'll help in a moment.
Will I fit in it? In the tent or whatever they made?
No, I mean,
Okay.
part of you could. Dandelion would have no problem, and I think Hiram's pretty small.
That's Fauna's horns just tearing through the tent.
Just
I'll
ripping it
stay
all
out. I can rest outside. I suppose we need someone to keep watch, you know?
Speaking of, who is keeping watch?
Nelly will volunteer for first watch.
Okay.
Hiram will also volunteer, being a creature of the night himself.
So
And I'll
second
volunteer
watch.
since I'm already staying out there.
All right, so third watch.
Yes.
Okay. You eat with them. They tell you that they are brothers, and that they are apothecaries by trade. That they have traveled all over, and that they were currently heading to Heartwood to sell some of their wares, as well as to restock on some of the supplies that they can only find there in the Heartwood. When they talk about bandits, they say they really haven't come upon Indy. They did come through Oak Bend, but it was mostly deserted. The town had a few people in there. They weren't hostile, but you could definitely tell that there was something going on, and they were rather kind of dust their feet from it and move along. The people looked kind of like they didn't have much left to give, and they didn't want to press them for anything more. They were in Oak Bend less than a day ago, so like they left just out of there and then got to where they are now. They do travel slowly. They said that they had a mule, but it ran off somewhere. They'll have to track it down and find it, of course, to tow the cart again. Hopefully it didn't get eaten. It ran away whenever the forest thing jumped out at them. So hopefully it's okay. Hopefully those things don't travel in packs. Hopefully. As the night winds down and you all dine and eat and share stories of your adventures and things like that, the two brothers decide to turn in for the night, leaving the watch to you all. Nelly, with the first watch, please give me a perception check.
14.
All right. Other than the life in the woods that seem to be traveling through there, small rodents and creatures, doesn't seem to be anything else of note or interest in the woods that evening. Eventually, your turn comes to an end.
I like to imagine they just sit in the middle of the thing and just their head continually pivoting, like almost all the way.
All right. Hang on just one moment. All right. As you guys look and see, your shift comes to an end and you take over Hiram. And I would like a perception check for you, please.
A 20.
Awesome. Your evening is also filled with not a whole lot going on. It's kind of a quiet night. Again, a lot of animals, small critters, and things like that in the woods, but nothing else of note.
During his watch, he'd just be absentmindedly like making like small little trinkets with like twigs and leaves and stuff. Like nothing too serious. Just using his scrounge craft ability to
Sure thing.
make little things.
Excellent. Anything in particular? Just like little knickknacks.
Yeah, just like little knickknacks, like maybe a couple of hedges that look similar to one another, like little figurines.
Make little tokens of the hedges. All right. As your watch winds down, that leaves us with our last watch for the night, Fauna.
$13.
All right. All right. As you are there, you can see that there's something that large that passes through the woods near you. It doesn't seem to disturb you at all. It doesn't seem to make its way towards you or anything else. And eventually it just kind of shrugs and struggles on through the woods. Not really sure what it was. Maybe something for you to investigate, or given its size, ignore?
I'll leave it be.
All right. And as you awaken the rest of the party, the hedges are very thankful for watching over them. They say that they're going to make their way quickly to Heartwood. You yourselves start to make your way toward Oak Bend, still with a pretty good traveling distance on your way, but not too bad. Once again, Hiram, are you taking point?
Yeah.
Excellent. Taking up the map, the forest smells are always amazing, but they even seem to be crisper today as the cold kind of starts to set in a little bit. And this part of the forest, there's always the loam, that wonderful loamy smell that you have, along with some of the coniferous trees in the area. So there's like little hints of fir and some pine in the air. Along with that is kind of an ever-present, kind of lingering, very faint smell of like ash or something in the woods, as some far part of it is being battled upon by a fire or being abated or what have you. You kind of walk along slowly, taking your time, not trying to get into a rush, but also not dawdling. About midday, I would like for everyone to give me their passive perception, please.
13.
14.
11.
14 is our highest.
I also have danger sense. I don't know if that helps at all.
It would if you were getting in a trap, but you know what? I'll make it work differently here. Give me an active perception check. So go ahead and roll perception for me, please.
17.
Perfect. Something about the nature of you just being a very cautious individual anyways. Even though you throw caution to the wind whenever it comes to fighting, you kind of have your head on a swivel, both figuratively and literally. As you're walking along, something in the forest strikes you as being off. You hear a snap of a twig. No one else seems to have noticed it, but you do. 3 figures on either side of the road, moving quickly, dressed in dark clothing so as to blend with the shadows. You see one of them that's tall with antlers on their head. Not broad ones like your friend Fauna, but more straight up. You also see a smaller figure moving gleefully, about the size of your friend Hiram, and another figure that's somewhere in between them, with a long snout, ears that come to a triangle. On the other side, you see two figures that are bouncing almost silently through the shadows. And one more of the tall, pronged figures. They start to step from the woods, but you have the drop. You know that they're there. What are you doing?
Great Axe is already out, yells to the rest of the party. We have company, and turns to charge whichever one makes it out of the tree line first.
All right. So the road is about 20 feet across, and then you've got like 10 feet of leeway on either side before you actually see the forest. So from the center of the road, about where you are, to the right or to the left, either way, is 30 feet. You see that they're spread out with about 10 feet between them. With that being said, if you're about middle of the road with the middle of the group, you could get to 40, 30. What's your movement speed right now?
30.
Okay. So you could get to the ones in the middle on the left or the right from where you are.
And those were the 2 antlered ones?
Nope, the antlers are on the forward ones. They're about 40 feet from you. On the right would be the Mapok. On the left would be one of the Gerbine. Those are the ones that you could get.
She'll go for the Mopok.
All right.
He'll
For
go.
those,
They will go. Jeez.
they will go. This creature that I am playing right now will go.
Gal will.
All right. For those of you who are not familiar with Humblewood, let's talk real quickly about the Humble Folk. Hiram himself is playing as a Mopok, or I should say Kyle is playing as a Mopok. Mopok are raccoons. They have a great skill for tinkering, which is what he was doing with scrounge crafting, just finding little items and making them. The other races that we have are the Servant, which is what Fauna is. Deer folk. There are two types of them. You have Pronghorn and Grove. And they have different abilities based off of which one you choose. But either way, they're both deer people. Then you have Dandelion, who is a Gerbine. The Gerbine are small mouse, and they have strong legs for jumping and bounding and getting away and bouncing. And then you have the Vulpine, which are the fox, and the Hedge, which are hedgehogs. The bird folk consist of the Corvum, which are all dark and raven. Any kind of Corvus is going to be in that particular group. You have the Gallus, which are normally look like chickens of all sorts. So you could have Selkies, or not Selkies, that's something else. You have Silkies, you could have Arcana, you could have all sorts of different chicken races. Then you have the Luma, which are beautiful plumage. Those are usually depicted as doves or pigeons of pretty color. And then you have the Luma. Then you have the Raptors, which are all the hunting birds, the birds of prey. And then you have the Strig, which is what Nelly is. Nelly is an owl. The Strig are all owls of all sizes. So you have great white snowy owls. You have small pygmy owls, all sorts of owls. But those are the Strig. And those are the Humble Folk and the Bird Folk. And that's who lives in there. What we have are two Servant leading the way. It's a Mopok and a Gerbine on each side, and a Gerbine on this side, and a Vulpine as well. So you're going for the Mopok, is that right? All right, let's go ahead and get initiatives rolled, since you're going to go ahead and rush at them first. Great, I can roll really high when I don't need to.
That's always how it goes.
When you don't need to, what are you meaning to say about this combat, sir?
I can't attack you with worth a darn, but I can roll you an initiative. All right, so it looks like first up we have, is that Nelly with a 19?
Yes.
But before you go, all right, so our initiative is going to go bad guys, Nelly, Fauna, Dandelion, and Hiram. As you turn and run, saying we've got company, you watch as the first one draws a bead and tries to fire an arrow.
That seems rude.
It rather is. However, he fumbles the arrow trying to knock it and fire. He ends up with the arrow going off wide and slamming into the dirt near you. Or not near you, but near him. His face is nervous as you start charging down. The next one, however, fires through and fires true. 23 to hit.
If that is for me, yes, that'll
Yeah.
hit all day.
And did you say you were raging whenever you started off?
I did not.
Okay.
Follow the damage is fool.
8 points of damage.
Okay.
Hiram. 13.
No, but are they within 30 feet of me?
They are.
Okay. As a reaction to seeing one of them like draw at him, he will kind of wave a hand, and his form will be wrapped in shadow briefly, and it imposes disadvantage on the roll.
Okay.
Just kind of a reaction to being aimed at.
Okay, so he rolled a 12 instead. All right. All right. Fauna. Only a 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dandelion is on Fauna's head. Let's gonna make things tricky.
Do antlers count as half cover?
Literally rolled for disadvantage. 13. To hit Dandelion. 13.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Trying his best, he aims and gets the lucky shot off. It wasn't that he was that skilled. You think the shot just happened to kind of bank and hit and bounce off into.
How fucking dare they?
6 points of damage.
Okay.
My baby.
That is their turn, though. So, seeing this large owl charging at them, they all immediately realize the jig is up and they fire arrows quick. Ellie, it's your turn.
Nellie's only 4 foot. But they go rage and take a swing at the Mohawk in front of them. 16.
Yeah, that'll hit him.
7 points of damage.
All right. And with that, hang on one second. Oh, he's still up, but he's in pain. He's like, oh! All right. After Nelly is Fauna.
Okay. I will. How far away are they all from us still?
If you're about in the middle of the road, you're going to be looking towards the ones in the back and the front are probably going to be about 40. No, actually, they're all about 30 feet from you. Just as you moving at the angles and things like that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put baby down. And oh, I don't remember. Is lay on hands a bonus action or an action?
It is an action.
Fuck. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. I heal baby.
I'm okay right now. You can go ahead.
Okay. All right. I don't heal baby.
Kill, mommy, kill!
Get him.
All right. All right. Okay. Put baby down. And I will pull out my sword and I will attack.
All right, go ahead and roll to attack. And for those watching, the mouse in the antlers that you see on Fauna's head is actually Dandelion that's down in the play. That's the player's token.
That's me.
All right, well, the 10 unfortunately will not hit. Your concern over the effect that the arrow had on your child is more overwhelming than your desire to smack them. As you look back going, oh, I should have healed them and swing the sword. Unfortunately, the character is enough. It's enough for the bandit to kind of dodge out of the way of the attack. All right. After Fauna is Dandelion.
We're gonna try magic missile.
Okay. Yeah. Are you gonna hit one of the guys, or like try to split it up? How do you want to do it?
It's 3 darts, maybe 2 to the one that hit me and 1 to someone else.
Okay. Do you want to try to hit the one that you watched Nelly smack in the head?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So for each one of those, go ahead and roll. And I believe that's set up in your character sheet already. Okay. So the first one, roll it. You have to click it 3 times. All right. So the first 2 slam into the one that hit you, causing 7 points of damage. The other one hits the one that Nelly had hit already. As the dart smashes into them, it explodes in a little burst of magic and sparkly dust. As it does, it sends him back, careening down onto the ground, dead.
I'm helping.
Head swivels, looks back, and just gives a nod.
I like the approval. All right. Dandelion, is there anything else you'd like to do?
No. Now I am wild magic. Do I have to do anything for that?
Yes, you do. I need you to roll me not a d20. I need you to roll me a percentile. Oh, it's definitely going off. All right, so I'd love for you to roll me a d100 again. Hang on just one moment. All right. Bending and weaving the magical weave that holds kind of everything together. You twist magic to do what you want, but unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't always capitulate. Toying with magic is a dangerous thing. As you finish casting your spell, the missile's flying from your hand, striking your targets unerring. I need you to roll me a d10 this time, please. As you finish casting the spell, you realize that you've grown. You're larger than what you were. As a matter of fact, you're about 10 inches taller than what you were.
Big baby.
Roll a d10. Your height changes by a number of inches equal to the roll. If the roll is odd, you shrink. If the roll is even, you grow. So you are now an extra 10 inches tall. Still small enough to ride on Fauna's antlers.
I am now 3'4".
You're now 3'4". You're getting closer to Nelly's height.
I was like, this is weird.
You're telling me.
Did you cast Enlarge Reduce on yourself?
She hit puberty.
No. All right, Hiram.
Okay. Well, this is fun. Is Nelly with first off, looking at their faces, does Hiram get any sort of like, are they scared? Are they like, do they have like, obviously he didn't see them approach, like Nelly saw them approach and took action, but right now in the moment, are they scared, concerned, determined? Like he's trying to determine like their what's making them tick, I guess.
Giving me a read of the audience or the crowd around you. Give me an insight check.
Okay. An 18.
18. You can see that there's a little bit of concern in their faces that maybe they've bitten off more than they could chew. But right now, the numbers are still in their favor. So they're not really sure if they should back down. So you get the idea that they're not as organized as other groups. It seems like they kind of are hoping that you guys will be an easy take.
Got it.
They were not expecting... they were not expecting Angry Owl and Magic Missile Mouth.
So, is that insight going to be an action or a bonus action?
No. I'm just letting you quickly scan the crowd, so you don't have to worry about it. What action?
Perfect. Hiram will gesture with his hands, kind of like finger tutting almost, and then point at the one that's next, or that would be next in line for Nelly to go and attack, and cast Guiding Bolt. Let's see. I think I can do that right here. Yeah. That is a 23 to hit.
Go ahead and click on it there again in the chat to give it your damage, but don't forget it'll give you a prompt to choose what level you want to cast it. Perfect. You have smote him to the dirt. He is not next in line anymore. He's gone.
Okay, sorry. That's my turn.
Okay. I am now down some back. Let's see. The one in front of Fauna is hurt but not dead, so he's going to switch to his short sword, dropping his... An 11 does not hit you, though. An arrow flying at Nelly. Are your armor class again?
16.
Meets it, beats it. Now this time I know you're raging, right?
Yes.
2 points of damage.
Alrighty.
Hiram. 16 to hit you.
16 will meet. He'll go ahead and, seeing that someone's taking aim, impose disadvantage.
How long does that last?
It's
to the end of like your next
as
turn or something?
I use a reaction and shadows envelop my form, and it's I think it's an attack when attacked by a creature that you can see.
Okay.
So I think it's per attack.
Okay, so basically as he attacks you or brings his weapon up to swing, you react by cloaking yourself in the shadows, which imposes the disadvantage, right?
Correct.
Perfect. That arrow and then is not a 16, it is a 13 as he tries to hit you through the enveloping shadows, but the arrow just sails past you and lands in the road, skittering to a halt. All right, that is their turn. That brings us back to Nelly.
Gonna go for the last one on the side that they are on. A 14.
14 hits.
18 slashing damage.
He is no more amongst the living. Hey, Hiram, you know how you were reading people earlier? You can get a clear idea that they are no longer have a stomach for this fight. And I apologize, Sarah, I cut you off.
No, Nelly's head just turns to look at the other side of the road with the kind of like your next.
Oh no. That would have cleared that entire side, and I believe Fauna moved to the same side that you were on. So that whole side of the road is cleared. Now the other side of the road still stands. Fauna, it's your turn. You can see the one in front of you looks nervous, gulping. His hands are shaking. So
I'll give you one chance to run away.
he uses his reaction to do exactly that. He throws his weapons down and starts to run.
Excellent.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to break us out of combat here because you realize that the rest of them, seeing their friend run, has thrown their weapons down to the ground. And they're trying to take off. Is there anything that any of you would like to do? I'm going to give you basically a reaction to...
I will let them go.
Okay.
No, they just kind of screech in frustration. Like, you're letting them go so they can attack somebody else.
Hiram will use thaumaturgy to like, and turn from your life of crime.
You faintly on the wind, you hear, "We will!" And at the end of the combat, this is where we're going to take a short break. Guys, give us about 10, maybe 15, but mostly about 10 minutes to take a short break. We're going to refill our drinks, go take a little break, stretch our legs, and things like that. Again, we're in the midst of NerdsGiving. We are supporting Heifer International. We would appreciate and love all of your donations. Help us put some good back into the world by helping those who are a little less fortunate. Let's help build this world up and make a better place for all of us. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Again, my name is Heath. This is Humblewood, and we'll be back real soon. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for the break. We are back and ready to play, if you are. So, we left off. Our team had just felled some bandits, or more like scared them away. As they're making their way to Oak Bend, a town that's been beset, and the waters being controlled by bandits. Taking a look at one another, you can see that a few of you have taken a few scrapes and cuts. Do you want to take a short rest, or do you want to just press on?
How are you all feeling?
I'm completely fine. I can. Oh wait! I immediately go to Dandelion and I cast Lay on Hands.
Okay.
How many health points were you down?
6.
I give you 6 health.
Thank you.
Now you're fine.
Love
Pay
you.
no mind to the owl, right? Just
You
At
can
least,
have
like, I've
you
had
can have
orders.
all the rest of it. Unless did you take any damage? Cool. All right. All the rest of the 11 goes to Nelly.
how many are you down, Nelly?
10. So
Or 10. I have 1 spare health point.
It's enough to stabilize.
just kind of gives a nod and like, all right. Looks over at Heimer. How far does your map say we're out from Oak Bend?
Not very far.
I estimate just a small journey. Oh, on that note,
And Hiram will do the now familiar casting of aid yet again on the 3 of you, increasing
Marvelous.
your current and max HP by 5 for the next 8 hours.
Excellent. A few more hours' travels bring you to a bend in a creek, or I should say what would have been a creek if it weren't for the fact that all that's running through there now is a small trickle of water. Muddy banks lead to a sandy, silted bottom that lead up to another muddy bank on the other side. All that's flowing across there now is a small trickle of water. You can see a bridge that crosses it ahead of you. Bridge seems to be sturdy enough. And beyond the bridge, maybe about a mile, you can see houses surrounding in a city with them outlying kind of in a diamond shape. Houses on either side, buildings there. You get the idea that this is the town that you're looking for, Oak Bend. An occasional hovel and home. You can see a few wisps of smoke floating from the hearths in those few homes. But for the most part, it's quiet, still, and silent.
Nelly, you could confirm this, but is it possible that we want to stay out of the city for the time being until we've dealt with the bandits?
The families said there were still other families at Oak Bend, so I'd assume the smoke we see is from their homes, not the bandit.
I just don't want it to come back on them for giving us hospitality after we've thoroughly trounced some of their number.
Perhaps one of us goes in, sees what we can find out. The rest of us can wait outside of town. They said that the leader was half mad, so we know that much at least.
From flame, so whoever goes in, be on the lookout for perhaps someone flame-scarred.
Who are
Any
you sending?
volunteers?
Who's going in?
Did we get a feeling of what the population would have been in this area? Would have been more bird folk, more humble folk?
More humble folk with some bird folk there too.
And Ellie would say, you're probably, not that they probably don't like bird folk, but you guys make it a better welcome than I. I'm also partially covered in blood, so I'm just gonna stay back here, go find a little bit of water.
Well, when it comes to bird folk, you know that Gallus specifically are more down to earth and are seen to be the ones that kind of mix it up. They're a good, hearty individual. While most of the Gallus communities are all Gallus, they are known to mix in with other groups of people and kind of spread out. But again, like I said, they're very down to earth, very likable. So seeing a Gallus as part of the families that you saw back at Humblewood doesn't surprise you much. The Luma, on the other hand, which take very good pride is like city birds. They seeing them in the mix was kind of an odd thing. But
Yeah, probably like mayor, or not like mayor, but like aristocratic of the town.
right, like hobnobbing with the locals or something. Who are you sending in?
I don't mind going if nobody else wants to. I am quite sort of small.
Will you promise that you will be extra careful and come back without a scratch on your body?
Yes.
Yes.
Perhaps you could both go.
That was my implication. Sorry, I will go alongside, and we will see what there is to see, and get the lay of the land, as it were.
Right.
I'll scout around the area, see if I see anything. Just meet back at this bridge.
At dusk, perhaps?
Seems to be a good enough plan.
All right. Well, with you two sneaking off, go ahead and give me stealth checks. I assume you're not just strolling into town. You're actually like trying to sneak through.
Sure. Yeah. We can sneak, yeah.
Okay.
I can try to sneak. I am small. Not
You can
not
roll for stealth.
I'm pretty
All right.
sure. Oh, it's only in shadow. Never mind. A 17.
Well done. What sort of armor are you?
Chainmail.
That's a 3.
Okay.
Disadvantage with heavy armor.
Then it's a 3.
Okay, it's a
Clank,
3.
With a natural 1.
You're tiptoeing, and the whole time it's like clink, clink, clank, 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 ching, ching, ching. All right, you two make your way into town. You said, Nelly, that you're going to scout like the outside edges.
Yeah, just see if they see any kind of bandage. You know, just anything that might kind of give a hint of where they are. Favored in and outs of towns kind of thing.
And do you want to do that with stealth, or do you want to just walk through, or?
How heavily is the area wooded at all?
Not until you get further out of town, further afield. You can see that there are a few farms on the outlying, like small, sustainable locations and things like that. Not big farms.
They'll still probably just try and stealth around as much as they can.
Okay.
Not that much. 7.
All right. You make your way on the outskirts of town looking around. I would like for those of you... And Fauna, are you just standing at the bridge waiting?
Yeah, I'll just hang out and be like a general kind of guard, not like an active guard.
Okay. Go ahead, and for those of you who are moving about the town, whether that be in the town or outside the outskirts of town, give me perception checks, please. Okay. Okay. Let's start with our person moving around the town, outside of town. Della, you can see that there are signs. Most of the houses here have been buttoned up. The farms are dried out. You don't see much in the way of irrigation currently. And you can see that any of the crops that there were growing there, what meager crops they had, have already been reaped, or they've laid fallow and they are now dried husks of things. You don't see too much activity. It doesn't look like there was any intent of burning or breaking or destroying the homes. It looks like more along the lines of there was some kind of control that tried to go in, and then they weren't able to control that, so those people left. But that's what you get from the outside of town. Now, what you do see is a bit of activity from people moving about, bandits and things like that. It looks like maybe footprints, but nothing that seems to be going active or live at the moment.
Okay. They would make their way back towards the bridge.
All right. In town, you two, especially Hiram. An occasional house here and there, you see the curtains part ever so slightly. No one comes to greet you. And you can see there are occasionally people that are looking from there. As soon as you wave, they close the curtains down tight, and you hear the heavy thunk of a bar being put in place to bar a door from the inside. It looks like most of the people are trying to avoid you. You get the idea. And you only see a few houses where this happens. Most of them, though, you can tell just from looking at them that they have been empty for a little bit now, days or more.
Well, it doesn't look like a very hospitable place at the moment.
It doesn't look like anybody's gonna come greet us at all.
Can't say I blame them, given the circumstance.
Yeah. How are we supposed to find anything out? They don't want to talk to us.
Well, maybe the tavern or the public house might have some manner of hospitality to show travelers on the road.
That seems like a good idea, yeah.
In the town, you do see one what looks to be a common house or tavern inn. There is a bit of is a little trail of smoke coming from the hearth or from the chimney there, giving the indication that someone is there. And it's probably one of the only places where you haven't seen a face sticking out the window only to bar a door against you. Making your way there, you can see that there are people inside. Not a lot, about 4 of them, and a tavern keep. The tavern keep is a hedge who is broader of belly, stands a little taller than most hedges. May have at one time had that very friendly opening smile about them, but you can tell that the current situation is weighed down on them. And as you look in, he kind of looks over at you and musters a half smile. And then just kind of looks at the other 4 that are in there. And they're sitting at a table. And he just looks back at you and says, and just kind of shrugs at you. And then motions you in.
After you. Right behind you.
Okay.
Just holding the door open.
Tiny little hops inside, then to a bar stool and then jump.
Well, aren't you all? Bit of a sight. What brings you all the way out here?
Oh, just on the road exploring.
And he looks nervously to the 4 around the table. They kind of look over their shoulder, but they don't say anything. I'll offer you a drink, and then I would suggest you probably move along.
No chance of restocking supplies? We're rather low from our journey.
You hear the sound of seats sliding back. Sound of wood scraping on a wooden floor that... And the 4 individuals at the table stand up. They walk terribly close to where you are. You hear one of them say, a Vulpin, his lips drawn up, baring his teeth a little bit. You heard what he said. Get your drink and move along.
Well, all right then.
Amongst them, you see the Vulpin. You see 2 Corvum wearing like ponchos, like made from leather and treated. The Vulpin seems to be wearing a leather jacket with no sleeves, or a leather vest with no sleeves. It comes down, it's belted at his waist, and you can see flowing pants tucked into nice boots that are cuffed at the edges. They seem a little worn, and their clothes seem to be a little worn. But they also seem to hold themselves as hard men, hard folk. As they leave, one of the Corvum hops towards the bar, walking over, and he takes a coin out, sets it down, takes another one out and sets it down. You can see they're gold coins, and he's putting them down. He puts 4 of them down. He goes, "These are for our drinks. Oh, look, collection time." And immediately takes all 4 of them and puts them back in his pocket before laughing cruelly and walking out of the door.
Well, that wasn't very polite.
You sort of get used to it. I'm happy to serve you a drink, but you seem like nice folk. I'd really suggest knocking the dust from your feet before moving along.
So, couldn't help but notice on the way here that there was, some smell of ash or smoke or fire somewhere in the area. Any sign of
Scratches his chin and looks at you. Would be, but about a month or so ago, town north of here caught fire. The fields burned for days, as did the trees. The lake north of here stopped them. So, We had water to help put out the fires. Fortunately, that water is no longer ours to control. It's controlled by hard men who make demands. We can't pay. So then they take it out on us in other ways. Working for them, enslaved to them, unfortunately.
About how many of them are there?
Last I count, their number was about 20. The problem isn't that they would fight the force in itself. It's that damnable leader of theirs.
Hiram will take a drink.
Does the leader stay in this town?
No. There's a series of limestone caverns north. He stays in one of those. It's not hard to find him. His name, Vincent Jape. Story is he's maybe not the best one to work for. He seems to lash out at shadows, if you know what I mean. He pours you a drink. Pours one for Dandelion as well. Smaller cup. Consider this one on the house. The advice is free too. This probably isn't the best place, but at the same time, and once again he leans in conspiratorially and kind of looks around. If something were to happen to Jape, the dam taken out or he's run off, well, can't say as people around these parts wouldn't be happy to see that.
Duly noted.
Well, nice meeting you. And I hope nothing but the best for you in the future.
The hedge that we had encountered back at the Heartwood, could you remind me of their name?
Liam. His name was Liam.
Thank you.
Liam sends his regards.
He had picked up a glass to start polishing it to clean it up. And at that, he looks at you and he smiles. And he says, "Did he now?"
Or it could have been Eric, or it could have been, any Liam.
No.
Sure.
You mistake it. Liam is an old friend of mine. I'm glad to see that he made it safely to Heartwood. Alice, I take it, was with him as well. Good. Good people. I like hearing that good things happen to them. I'm going to go clear this table off and, like I said, finish your drink and clear out for your own. And he sets out to clear the 4 glasses off of the table. And you can see there's some hammered steel plates that he was using, or some sort of iron. And he takes those and goes and takes them back into the back to start clearing. He doesn't seem to be using any water. He's just kind of like cleaning them off with whatever he has. Nellie, you arrive back at the at the bridge too, by the way.
I dare say we have enough.
Hiram will pull out like 3 silver and put it on the counter, like towards the, I guess more towards the wall, so away from the end of the counter, the bar top.
Okay. All right. And after doing that, I take it you're heading back towards the bridge. All right. As if on cue, you arrive. It's not quite dusk, but you can see the sun is heading closer to that direction it is to high noon. You arrive back. You can see both Nelly and Fauna are waiting for you. Fauna a bit more impatiently than Nelly.
As promised, not a scratch.
Exactly.
Good.
So we'll relay the information that we obtained.
Okay. So you get the notion. He said that there was a dam. That the leader, his name is Vincent Jape, and that he is indeed paranoid or something else. He seems to be lashing out at things. He's not correct, or as my mother would love to say, his cheese is sliding off the cracker. You also know that there was a fire north of the lake, and that the lake helped them to keep it at bay. Basically, that the lake was big enough that they could use the water from the edge to keep it at the edges of it, wetting down the area around it. That helped to stop the spread of the fire. So, at the current moment, though, you're sitting on the outskirts of the town. It's not necessarily unfriendly, but they're afraid, it looks like, to maybe assist. And you got that as much from the barkeep. What are you doing?
The barkeep said they'd be good with either wiping out the leader or breaking the dam.
Either or.
You can either walk into the mouth of the beast or break its back, whichever one we want to do.
Well,
Guess which one would be easier in a sense. I don't really know.
I think that
I doubt they
breaking
have the dam unguarded.
Yeah.
And if it's any kind of proper dam, it's not going to be broken down with a few spells or swings of a weapon.
They haven't faced an angry mama deer before, though.
I am not doubting the breadth of your wrath, just the sturdiness of a dam built to hold back a lake.
Well, perhaps we don't have to destroy the dam. They did mention that payment to the bandits allowed the flow of water, yes?
For a short period of time.
So maybe there's some sort of gate that we could destroy. We don't have to destroy the entire dam, we just have to destroy the control that the bandits have over the dam.
But if we just destroy a wall or a gate, common folk typically don't go after bandits. There's a reason that they're being extorted for money. They don't want to fight these people. They can't fight these people. They would rather run from their homes than fight these people.
I take it your vote is to confront the leader himself.
You don't traditionally bargain with bandits, especially if they're already taking what they want and their numbers with the leader. If you cut off the head, the limbs may run, but
I think we've seen that they don't have very much staying power to begin with if we assert our force.
the ones in the forest might not have been affiliated with this man. They could have just been common highway thieves.
There is that.
Did the ones you saw in the city seem a bit more organized? A bit more like a loyalty of family?
Bit more rough and tumble, yes.
We only really saw the 4 in the tavern, if that's anything.
We can try either way, but I don't think the dam will be unguarded. Either way, there is going to be a fight.
So what's your plan?
I vote a straight-on fight.
Yeah, Nelly will
Not
make
bothering to get to the dam. It could exert too much physical energy before we even get into a fight, only to end up in a fight. I think if we know that we're going to fight, why not just fight?
Just cut off the head, be done with it.
To the caves,
Yes.
then.
Get the idea that the cavern system would be around where the lake is. The limestone having eroded from some of the water flow and then emptying out over time. So more than likely, that's where you're going to need to head. You can follow the bed, or you can just try to take off. You can kind of wind through the creek, or you can just take off north and see what you can land on. You do have your map, which would lead you a greater distance to where the lake is and where the creek starts.
I do have the Wanderer from part of my background, if that would help us at all as well.
Sure.
From my Outlander background.
Yeah, that would help.
The bandit background and being able to trace bandit routes help at all?
Absolutely. What about you, Fauna? Do you have anything to throw into this march?
I have the soldier background, so I would have people that could help us, but not help us fight, I assume.
Okay. You get the idea that these aren't the greatest tacticians in the world, so probably not more soldiers. However, with the 3 of you, what we're going to do, give me a survival check. I'll allow you to choose one person to do that. You will add a +3 modifier on top of whatever you may have for your survival.
Are we allowed to discuss numbers?
Absolutely. I'll allow you as players to discuss numbers, basically looking at it as in character you're talking about who has more experience out in the wild.
I've got a 3 bonus to survival.
As do I.
I have a +6.
Guess who's rolling?
Guess who's growing that one? With that +3, it'll take it a total of 9.
So
Nice.
just roll survival and add 3 to it.
You got it.
28.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Nice.
okay with this.
The 3 of you pull your resources, reaching into your collective knowledge and your background, and you go, okay, the lake, you're going to try to find a cave closest to the lake, so that way you can deploy easily to the dam. You know that the dam is probably not going to be maybe right at the lake, but more than likely will be just a step forward. You don't want to overflow the bank, so you don't want to have it too far down, but you don't want to have it like right at the edge in case you don't build it out far enough so you guys realize that that's where it's going to be at. Knowing how limestone works, you're probably going to have to dive a little deeper in there, so you want to find something that's going to be big enough to house everybody, but also probably not deep enough that you can get lost in it. So as you start making your way through, with the Gerbine actually leading the way, kind of looking through and bouncing, you guys follow, keeping the river on your right, heading north. It doesn't take you long, but the problem is that your light is now fading out as your day is disappearing. You start to see the rise in the hills, making not really mountains, but more like really, really tall hills. And you can see here and there dotted in small entrances that lead down into there, as though at one time the lake overflowed and then eroded out this over time, and then eventually receded back to where it's at. So, kind of given me another survival check. Again, the three of you working together this time, instead of adding the +3 to try to find your way, I'll give you advantage for whoever's going to roll on it. And I assume that will be Hiram again.
Also, if it gets too dark, I can use dancing lights if we
Okay.
want.
Nellie would also volunteer to take a lead. They have dark vision.
All right.
As does Hiram. That is a 25 with advantage.
Nice. All right. Yeah, actually, you are easily finding markings of like what would be turned into a home. You see a path that leads towards maybe a particular location. Moving here and there, you can see torches set on staves or sticks that can be easily doused by just adding a cap to the top of it. The cap is actually tied on with a piece of twine at each one of them. Right now, the first ones that you find aren't burning, and as you kind of like touch them to your fingertips, you can see that they're cold. They haven't been lit in a while. However, further down the track that you're following, you see little hints of dancing candlelight or torchlight that are burning ahead of you, giving an indication that you are heading definitely in the right direction, on the right path. A few more twists and turns through the hill and the mountains, rocks on either side of you now. You see that it opens up, and ahead of you is a large mouth of a cave. It's wide, but it doesn't look like it's real deep, but you can see more lights in there. As a matter of fact, you can start to hear just at the edge of it voices talking as they echo around inside of the shallow cavern and then back out at you again. This almost looks like someone took a dug out of the earth and left this like hole that's about maybe 25 feet in, but close to 60 feet across. And you can hear water running, like falling and cascading somewhere nearby. Not falling from a high depth, but definitely falling down a short one. All right. Creeping ever closer. Now you start to get the scent of campfire smoke and something cooking on it. You also hear voices again clearly, and give me perception checks now that you can hear them closer.
That perception check feels normal for me.
Too busy trying to figure out how to nestle into the antlers being 10 inches taller.
This doesn't feel right. I don't like it.
All right. You hear some of them sound like they are in no condition to stand, let alone fight. They seem to be slurring their words a bit. And some of them are singing boisterously, although completely horribly off key. You get the idea that several of them, if not a lot of them, are well on their way to being drunk. As drunk as a glass of water.
Oh, they're having a party.
You should join.
Would they be upset?
I don't know. Would you like to join them?
No.
Okay.
Anyone but Dandelion, I think, at this point could possibly do better at joining than Dandelion.
Who knows? They might love you and adopt you.
The child
Never.
of a bandit clan.
Nelly, I don't mean this to be offensive. Please don't take it the wrong way. In your experience, are bandits a superstitious lot?
I mean, it varies from person to person. They did say their leader was, jumping at shadows. Maybe it's spread to his crew. And they sound like they're a little sauced. It might aid in their gullibility.
I might be able to pull a fast one, as it were. But if it goes awry, please be ready to spring into action.
Nelly just kind of nods, pulls out their great axe, and positions himself against a wall to intercept anyone that may run there.
All right. Just go ahead and give me a general stealth check, please, Nelly.
16.
All right. All right. Fauna, Dandelion, what are you guys planning? And Hiram, what are you doing? Or what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'd like to know what Hiram is doing.
So, much like Hiram has done a lot today, use thaumaturgy in some of its other effects to mess with the flames of the campfire and create ominous dissonant whispers in the general area of the campfires. Like they're singing and carousing, and all of a sudden some, hidden whispers to do that, and then change the color of the flame when the whispers actually reach a certain point, because I can have 3 simultaneous effects going on for a minute.
I like it.
I could also try and scare them. I could ensnare them.
I mean, if they're
Doesn't-
paranoid,
it doesn't-
dancing...
It doesn't hurt them, but it would definitely be horrifying if suddenly vines wrapped around them and held them in place.
Do we want them to run away, or do we want them to stay here?
Well, it's not just to keep them in place, it's just to scare the absolute daylights out of them. I'll let them go so they can run and be on their way.
I like it.
So a mix of thaumaturgy and entangle to try to terrify
nature's
them.
wrath.
All right. So let's do this. You're going to have those 3 effects going on. I'd like for you to go ahead and give me, much like you did earlier with intimidation, or I want you to do the same thing. Intimidation, using your spellcasting modifier, or your spellcasting, like it's a spell attack bonus. So a proficiency plus your mod.
Who's rolling this?
Well, I want Hiram to roll this one.
A 13.
Not the best.
Still beats an 8, though. And so what I'd like for you to do now is roll me just a straight D20 roll. No modifiers, just a D20. Okay. So, do you remember how many bandits I said he had on staff earlier?
About 20.
About 20? Yeah. Well, 19 of them hear whispering sounds, see flames rising and changing colors, writhing around as though they live, and each time the whisper comes into their mind, they look at one another. You say something? No, not me. You were saying something. And immediately there's a chatter of drunken voices who are now terrified of whatever it is that's happening inside this cavern. And immediately you see them starting to bolt from the cave. Are you going to use Entangle at this time?
You know what? Can I use it to try and scare the shit out of the last one?
Sure, go ahead and I need to give you a strength saving throw?
Uh,
I don't know how this spell works.
a strength or dexterity. It's your choice.
All right. What's your spell save DC?
13.
It comes up around him and he starts to like see the vines creeping across the ground, threatening to engulf him and swallow him in the vines. He immediately screams and tears some of the vines apart and runs for his life. However, their screams and yells and their machinations of running have not gone unheard. A challenging bellow comes from inside the cave somewhere. A Vulpine, dressed in a coat like a highwayman has, much like the one that I have on, steps out from the shadows. You can see him in the fire, looking around, unimpressed by the parlor tricks that you're casting about. He yells out behind them,
"You're all cowards, and I'll gut every last one of you I see you again."
He spits into the flame and then steps forward, pulling a cutlass from his blade, or from his side.
"Well, go on. Show yourselves. I know you're out there. I'm not afraid of you. The thing in the fire didn't take me, and I'll be damned if any of you are either. Come on, show yourselves."
I think this is the part where we fight.
Nellie will step around whatever wall they were against, let the axe kind of drag the ground, hopefully making some sparks, and just kind of stand there silently.
Looking like Pyramid Head coming out, dragging
Pretty
the blade
much.
behind you.
Just like,
could I
alright.
cast Enlarge on Nelly before they go out?
You may.
Hopefully, how tall are these caverns?
Oh, they're like 15 to 18
Okay.
feet high. So
As
you're
long as you don't enlarge fauna, we're good.
I think it's like 8 feet tall with the antlers. So
I'm at 7'4" with the antlers.
okay, so you'd be at like 10'4" or so. All right. So with that being said, you walk around the corner, and as you take a stride, you watch as your form swells, whoop, even larger than before. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get some more initiative roll.
I a 10 again. All right.
This is my second time with a nat 1 on initiative.
Oh no!
We've
I
rolled
want to make
initiative
sure
3
you're at the
times.
end to clean up after all of this.
You're not gonna believe this again.
He was prepared. It was fine.
He was waiting.
Okay, so it looks like we've got Nelly, then Hiram, then Fauna, and then Dandelion, right?
Yes. I think this whole time we've done initiative, it's only been Hammond and Dandelion rotating their spot. On initiative, sorry. Oh wait, no. Never mind. I realized Fauna's third now. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't roll good at all this time.
Okay. With that being said, walking up towards you, he kind of takes a pause for a moment as he looks at you. Rolls his shoulders under his jacket, and then you watch as he pulls another shorter blade out from in his other hand.
Fine, then. I'll take you down a piece at a time.
And he moves forward to attack you. $23 for the first hit, and then a 17 for the second one.
Both hit, and I'm not raging
Okay.
yet. I'm just Lorge.
All right, that's going to be a total of 14 points of damage as he slices the cutlass across you and then follows up by thrusting the shorter sword into you. Pulling back, he kind of like sets his feet with the cutlass in front of him and the blade back behind him. He looks like he's ready to go for whatever you might throw at him. That being said, it is your turn.
Go in rage, and then rage isn't. Well, could I do rage and reckless attack on the same turn?
Absolutely, that's how
Okay.
it works.
Reckless attack. And of course, ancestral protectors, I think, come out once I hit.
20 will hit him.
And a +4 to, or D4 to that.
Oh,
18 total.
Nice.
Were you prepared for this?
All right, maybe not quite as much as I thought.
All right. Is that your turn, Ellie?
That is my turn.
Hiram.
Okay. This is going to be interesting. And apologies in advance for this.
What are you doing, Jimmy?
No apologies to my teammates. So is he within 30 feet?
Yes, yes, he
okay.
is.
And how about the campfire?
The campfire would be into the cavern, so it's probably about 50 feet from you.
Perfect. Hiram will, as he concentrates on using his channel divinity, said,
The beast in the flame didn't claim you.
But what about the beast of the shadows?
like use the whisper to like the thaumaturgy whisper to like create this like creepy whispers, and the lights go out. I need a Constitution saving throw from him.
Okay. Did you just... Never mind.
Is this special darkness?
It extinguishes any magical or mundane light within 30 feet of me.
Okay. I was making sure this wasn't like extra chunky darkness.
I basically just flip the light switch.
5.
So he fails.
Oh, yeah. Gloriously.
He is blinded for 3 rounds.
I thought that's okay, because I thought you hunger of Hadard me there. So.
Oh no, I'm not. Oh no. That'd be fun though, but no. And that's Hiram's turn.
Okay. Fauna, it's dark.
Can I see at all?
I will say it's clouding the vision of your foes in a shroud of darkness. And since the fire is beyond the 30 feet, I think the fire is still lit.
Is it a 30-foot radius or is it 30 feet like from you?
30 feet of me. So.
Oh yeah, so yeah, the
anything outside
fire
of
is
that.
not out. Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
fire is fine. You can see, and you can see him.
Okay, then I would like to charge.
Okay.
$16.
A 16 will hit him.
What?
No.
I still need a strength saving throw.
Would it be a disadvantage since he's blinded?
Yeah, it would be a disadvantage. But also, your attack would have had advantage there, Molly.
Ah. I mean,
Roll
can I
to see if you
for
get
the
that
crit?
nat 20.
I want you to roll it to see if you get a natural 20. Okay. Literally the same
Fucking
thing.
the same roll. How close is he to the fire? Can I push his ass into the fire?
He's not that close to the fire.
Okay. How's that strength saving throw?
Okay, literally rolled it for disadvantage, right? A nat 1 and a natural 20. So
Nice.
he has a total of a 3. How far back do you shove?
10 feet.
Okay, he is shoved backwards closer to the fire, taking 2 points of damage as you. All right, after Fauna is Dandelion.
We're gonna do some magic missiles at him.
Okay.
That'll be helpful.
Do something fucking crazy with that wild magic.
I hit the wrong button. Sorry, it kicked me.
Turns into a potted plant.
That's actually my favorite one.
I'd be the cutest potted plant, let's be
Maybe
honest.
like a potted little hydrangea dandelion.
Okay, so you hit him with 8 points of damage.
Yes.
Okay, and give me a D100 roll. Okay, roll a D100 again.
I like them low numbers.
Nothing appears to change. All right. After Dandelion is me.
You do get a new saving throw at the end of each of your turns to remove the blinding effect.
Okay. He is going to do his darndest to try to attack you. See if he can find you.
I did reckless him, so even though he has disadvantage, he would have a straight roll.
He was also shoved 10 feet back.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck, buddy.
He swings wildly with his main hand. And a 12 will not hit anybody in this party with the exception of Dandelion. He's not near you, so he misses both times, swinging wildly, trying to do that. Now, let's see if he makes this. It's only a 12.
I think the DC is 16.
Oh, yeah, no. You
14,
see him
14, sorry.
slashing out with his weapons, trying to hit anybody, but he's so far removed from wherever you guys are located. He's not anywhere near you. All right, with that being said, we're going to bring it back to Nelly.
Takes a couple silent steps forward to get within swinging range and swing. Would they have advantage?
You would have advantage on attacks against him.
Okay, and I've added in all the dice modifiers onto this one. For
Hey, look at
9.
All right. As you walk up, you can see he has his weapons at the ready to defend himself, but he has no idea which way you're coming. And as you bring your sword down, he's not even, or you bring your great axe down, he's not even paying attention to where it is and doesn't bring his weapon up in time to block the attack until it's too late. And your axe slices through a part, hitting him across the back. He kind of like stumbles forward and turns to face you, or at least in your general direction. Hiram.
All right. Hiram is going to target him with a guiding bolt. That's a 25.
Yeah, that's a hit.
For 15 points of radiant damage.
Radiant.
And I believe the next person to attack him has advantage. Not that it matters.
Yeah, because they already have advantage from him being blind, but still. Fauna, unless there's anything else you'd like to do, Hiram.
No, just the thaumaturgy, just the whispers are still going.
All right. Then it is going to come back to, Fauna. You have advantage on the attack.
Okay, I'm gonna put my shield away and I'm gonna go two-handed with my longsword.
Go for it. The 19 will hit. All right, is that your turn?
Yeah.
Stepping forward, you swing with a mighty swing, slicing up into him a bit. He grunts as he stumbles backwards. Dendel.
We'll do another magic missiles, I guess.
All right, go for it.
Bigger damage this time. You're muted.
As you watch and hit him, he hits his cutlass into the tip of the dirt, kind of leaning on it heavily. He hasn't toppled over yet, but you can see him struggling. Looking around, his eyes milky white, unable to see anything. He stands up and once again tries to attack, swinging wildly through the air.
Wild mage, wild mage, wild.
You do need to give me a wild mage.
I want something to happen so bad. I don't get to play with a lot of wild mages.
Plan.
Nothing happens this time, though.
Damn it.
Okay, swinging back and forth, he gets close to you, Nelly, and with a 16 hit you?
Meets it, beats it.
You take 6 damage. As he just manages to connect with you with a wild swing.
Leans over, kind of snaps near them, just to screw with them.
Let me give him a saving throw. By the way, I did not have that, so it would have been 3 damage. Sorry about that.
Okay. She is
Trying to resist it. 16 that time.
That beats it, so he is no longer blind.
Shakes his head and looks around at all of you.
What sorcery is this?
Not exactly sorcery. Wrong school of magic.
Prayer, if that counts.
We are the Fantastic Four. Humblewood.
No, we're not. No, we're not. There goes all that recording.
We're the okay four.
Can we be a Fantastic Four, not the Fantastic Four?
We're the quite okay quadruplets. All right.
There we go.
That's how we avoid copyright infringement.
Hiram.
Nelly kind of leans over, is like, it isn't a magic, it's the sins of your past coming back to haunt you.
Oh, wait, did I skip Nelly? Okay, there you go. Thank you.
10 total.
The last words he hears before he is put down are, these are the sins of your past, come back. You bury your axe into him and he collapses to the ground. The cutlass goes scattering from his hand, skittering across the stone. He rolls over, clutching his side, looking up at you.
Well, at least the thing of the fire didn't get me. Small blessings, I guess.
And with that, he fades away. The next, you retreat back to the town. Do you do anything with him? Do you take him with you?
He'd make a lovely throw rug.
No.
That's cruel.
Were any of his articles of like clothing or anything he had on him very distinctive? Like, was the weapon ornate, easily recognizable as possibly his?
Yeah, his cutlass is definitely recognizable as him, and his jacket as well. Like I said, it's like mine. It was probably one of the only ones that you saw there.
Nelly would take
Those are
both
definitely
of
his.
those as like proof of, versus like taking a head.
Sure. You make your way back to the town in the dark. Easily, though, guiding yourselves back there. Where's the first place you're going to when you get into the town?
The Hiram's vote would be either the tavern or just the center of town.
Okay. Making your way back towards the center of town, you can see a small group of bandits, about 6 of them. As you approach, they turn. There's a few lanterns burning here in the town. And as you approach, you see them turn and look at you, immediately recognizing the jacket and the weapon of their captain. One of them steps forward and looks at you. This mean you gonna lead us?
Nelly's like looking around like, no. Atone for your sins. Break the dam, help these people.
Or what?
Or join your leader.
Go ahead and give me an intimidate.
No. 9.
I'll give you advantage since you are carrying articles of his clothing that shows he is quite...
And that would be 14.
couple of them like look at one another. It's that whole situation of, yeah, sure, we outnumber you, but who wants to be the first one to fall? And eventually they just kind of nod at you, and you see them start to meander away. It's only about 5 of them. Over the next day or so, you see some of the people start to open up their doors and make their way out. Water starts to flow through the creek again almost immediately. As you make your way back, having cleared the bandits from this area, or at least the major threat, you know it'll take some time for them to collect. You take the journey back to Heartwood, where you turn in your writ, collecting your money, and meet up with the people that you had met that first day outside of the gates, letting them know that their town is now theirs once again. Liam thanks you, and you see that the Luma that you had spoken with, or that you had seen there, is carrying or has a small contingency of guards with them. Not very many, 6 or 7, but they're armed and they're well trained. You hear them saying that they're heading back toward Oak Bend, especially now that it's been cleared out and now that they have a small garrison that they can start there to help protect against anything that might rise up. And while you might not be heroes in Heartwood, at least the people of Oak Bend know what you've done to help liberate them and free them from the bandits that were causing tyranny there. So congratulations. Job well done.
Heroes of Oak Bend. Woo.
The slightly mediocre quadruplets.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. I know we ran a little long, so I appreciate you hanging in there with us while we got through there. Let's go ahead and do the thing where we do the outro. Once again, my name is Heath. I've been your DM for this evening, running Humblewood. You can pick that up. I don't know if it's on sale yet. I know the Kickstarter's going out, but you can find it out there. It's done by the Animated Spellbook, so feel free to pick them up. Not the Animated Spellbook. That's just something
Deck of Many.
The Deck of Many. Thank you. Deck of Many is who it is. Thank you very much. The animated spell cards are one of the products they have. But anyways, the Deck of Many, go find them. They have fantastic products, including Humblewood. Again, this has been a fantastic thing we're doing for NerdsGiving, where we are supporting Heifer International. Please donate, give to them, help us put some good out in the world. Again, my name is Heath. You can find me here on Wednesdays on We Are Nerdsmith running Obscurum. You can find me on Twitter at DireBearAC and on Twitch at DireBearGM, where I'm at Monday nights running our own show called The Escorts. Feel free to tune in there. Why don't we go ahead and throw it in the same circle? So, Kyle, take it away.
Sure. I am Kyle. You can find me usually on Tuesday nights playing in Shenanigans as Merrick Strider. I'm also over on the Nerdsmith Network. You can go to our Discord in the doobly-doo down below and find me there. I'm also on Twitter at xgrimsby.
Excellent. Molly?
I'm Molly. I played Fauna, and you can see me playing on Mondays and Thursdays with Direbear, and you can also find me on Instagram at ThighHighCosplay.
Thank you. All right, Sarah.
Sarah played Nellie. You can also catch me Monday playing Zora, and Tuesday playing Cat on Direbear.
V?
I'm V. I play Dandelion. I play Ezra on Mondays, and I play Nyx on Thursdays.
Excellent.
And Crying Ghost everywhere.
Crying Ghost everywhere with 2 eyes.
2 eyes.
That's just like yours, 2 eyes. Thank you all. This has been an absolute pleasure for me and a blast as always. I don't think we have anything else to cover. So with that being said, have a fantastic evening. Don't forget, tune in Thursday, the 14th, for the last of the shows. That is being put on by Franz, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it is called Golden Sky Stories, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But again, that's going to be running at the same times, if I'm not mistaken, as well. 7 p.m. Pacific time. So tune in to see that. And again, please give where you can, show the love, spread the word, and get some good back out in the world. Take care, everyone.
Hello, Internet. I'm Angela. I'm a director and creator. We here at Nerdsmith would like to wish you a very happy NerdsGiving. The time has come for our second annual NerdsGiving charity event. 2 weeks of playing silly games with our friends while putting a little bit of good back into the world. This year, we are supporting Heifer International and their fight to end hunger while caring for the earth. They gift families and communities income-producing animals and provide the training to turn those animals into sustainable businesses. For the next 2 weeks, that's November 1st through the 15th, we here at Nerdsmith will be running animal-themed RPG one-shots and giving away delightful prizes during the streams. Stay tuned on Twitter for the latest show schedule or donate today at fundraise.heifer.org/nerdsgiving. It's bound to be amusing. No, don't cluck up this opportunity. No, just play the outro.
We are Nerdsmith. Bum ba-dum.
No. We're gonna try that again. One more time. From the top. We are Nerdsmith.